He does this. Hey everybody, welcome to Radical Books and Activists. I'm your hostess, Hester La Chingona, and here with, come on now, what's your name? Antonio. Who's forgotten his name? That's my son. And
Antonio.
And also our co-host,
Misael Juarez.
poet and activist and comrade. So we're waiting on our host a little bit. Not our host, our guest, our special guest, AD Ibrahim. He was a little nervous about YouTube, but hopefully he'll make it. And so it is soccer season! FIFA fever in this house. How many days have we signed up for to watch a game? Every day, suckers! So I was telling Misael that this World Cup has been, I mean, I've seen a lot of World Cups, but this has to have been one of the best World Cups with major upsets, some terrible, terrible referee calls, and just overall, there has not been a match that has not been just amazing. In fact, we were just watching the and there's going to be spoilers. Sorry, y'all. I'm sure you can all Google it, but the Spain was playing with Germany, and I'm telling you what, I don't know. What did you think about that game, Antonio?
It was just tough either way. I mean, there was definitely a favorite going into it for us, but like it didn't feel like any team was really a pushover.
Not at all. In fact, I was very proud of the way Spain played, and well, the score ended up being 1-1. But yes, but there was another goal by Germany that was called off sides, and so that's been one of the things. One of the things that's been so frustrating is that nowadays there is technology that they're using to put a microchip in the ball. So it's not a question of what you see or the camera. Like, it literally tells you if it's inside or not. And so I think it takes a little bit of the fun out of the game. But, soccer, we say in our house, we quote Ted Lasso, soccer is life. Sometimes it's death. Dios bendiga el fútbol. And I had this image of the Virgin Mary saying, please protect them, because one of the Ecuadorian players got hurt very badly. And so we're hoping that nobody gets terribly injured, especially when the game gets closer. There's an early score. There's a lot of pressure for the team to represent their country. So Antonio is actually a first-time soccer watcher. He's now become a huge fan, and he's got a lot of opinions about soccer. Which has been your favorite match so far?
My favorite match, probably Portugal versus Ghana.
Ghana has had a tremendous showing in this World Cup, and so we're super duper excited. But there have been some terrible upsets. Argentina lost against the Saudi Arabia. I couldn't believe it. They scored 2 goals like in the last 7 minutes of the match, and it was terrible. It was
that was Iran, like it scored the last 2 minutes.
No, was it Iran?
Yeah, Iran versus Wales is the one where they scored.
When did Saudi Arabia score?
Saudi Arabia scored once in the first quarter and once.
Never mind. I watch so much freaking soccer. I'm getting my matches confused. But it's been a lot. And what game was it that they pulled the goalie out with a red card, which we thought was tragic? I'm gonna have to look that one up. But that was like, what the F, dude? So a lot of Wales, right?
Yeah.
We thought that was totally effed up on the referee's part. We thought a yellow card was sufficient. Red card's pretty serious. So they took him out. They put in another goalie, but it was a tough match to watch. And Wales is also a more recent country because it's gained its independence, but it's an amazing showing, all countries overall. But we were talking, Misael and I, that soccer is political. It looks like Ibrahim is not going to make it. Maybe we can catch him later. Yeah, he's probably asleep. I don't know where he's from, but we suspect that it's gotten way too late for him. He probably thought 4 o'clock his time, which was not the case. But we're very proud of Mexico, because even though
Mexico,
they lost, they did beautifully against Argentina. We're also very happy to see Argentina pick up. What? Go ahead.
To be entirely fair, I feel like Mexico wasn't going to win that one going in because it was Argentina. Argentina was backed into a wall. They lost the game against Saudi Arabia, so if they lost that one, they're basically counted out because there's no way, unless they scored a ton of goals in the last game,
they're not going to get out of groups.
Unlikely.
Yeah. And let's talk about the very first match, Ecuador versus Qatar. I have never seen so many yellow cards in my entire life. I think they could have taken all those yards and made a line across the goal field, the short one.
Yeah,
that was how many, like 30 some, right?
Yeah, I think it was 34 at the end?
34 yellow cards, Qatar against Ecuador. And unfortunately, Qatar was unqualified. They didn't make it to the,
Yeah, they got disqualified in the second game against Senegal because they lost 1-3.
Yeah, so they were out. So sad for Qatar.
The funniest thing is they got out before the last match, and that makes them the worst performers in the World Cup history. The second used to be Africa, I think, with it was an African country with 4 points. And
it was probably Nigeria with those 3 auto goals. I don't know if you remember that World Cup.
Qatar scored once.
Yeah, Qatar scored once. Yeah, I mean, they played well. They were just way too, we don't like it when the players get overly dirty and pulley and pushy and sweeping really hard, because they could injure the players permanently. And so there's been some players that have come back from previous matches that are just not recovering. So, people should be more measured. And then I love the style of some of the goalies that don't just pull so many yellow cards. They let the players play. So it's been amazing. If you the referees, yeah, sorry. I really think this is going to be a historic World Cup. It's also post-pandemic, so people are very excited to be together. Another upset: Japan versus Germany, right? No, wait, who are they playing? Japan
versus
Costa Rica.
Yeah,
Japan versus Costa Rica. Could not believe it.
But Japan pulled out and upset themselves and won against Germany 2-1.
Yeah, Japan won against Germany 2-1. So there's been inconsistencies, but then the teams get it together and pick back up. But I'm telling you, Misael, if you get a chance to watch these on Peacock or I tweeted at Peacock. I'm like, I was in fans about your subscription, but I'm never getting rid of Peacock ever again because of this. They made soccer so awesome and exciting, and the streaming has been great. There's been a few little technical difficulties, but soccer is political. We hope that those referees that made bad calls have security guards for life because people have very long memories.
Yeah, especially that I think the one that's probably gonna get attacked the most is either the one that did Ghana v Portugal or Argentina v Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, for sure. There were some poor calls, but there were also some very good calls. As happens in soccer, we were just, oh man, Messi has been performing beautifully. He had a penalty kick that I was like, hot damn. And in fact, that's why we featured him on the YouTube. But we soccer is political, of course. I mean, there have been investigations of corruption against FIFA and all this stuff. But you were saying that Qatar, Misa, spent how many billions of dollars or millions of dollars?
They spent about, according to Forbes, they spent about $6 to $8 billion in building the stadiums. But in October 2022, I think, or 2021, I'm not sure, but CBS was saying that they would be spending up to $229 billion. So the most recent one was about $6 to $8 billion.
So my thing is, I mean, yeah, it costs a lot to build stadiums, but think of the good they could do with that money, providing basic needs for the people.
Qatar is a place that has the oil
money, right?
The oil industry, oil money, and they are not lacking in anything. They got, I think, free education, free healthcare.
Oh well, shoot, okay. That's great. Kind of like the Saudis, they send their students abroad and pay for all their education. It's amazing because of oil, and that resource that, of course, other nations covet and fight for, especially the United States. But that to me is one of the things that, I mean, soccer is a very it's interesting because we were talking about how much soccer players actually made, and we haven't seen the how much to soccer. Google it, Antonio, because it's a profitable sport. It's also a very patriotic sport, like
USA.
Even we're like USA. The day USA played against England, oh my God, it was so amazing. I mean, they played their hearts out. And it's a beautiful. What we've also noticed, there are a lot of young players. In fact, we were looking up the ages of the Spanish players. The youngest player in the Spanish team is 19 years old.
And then the youngest player for Germany, I think 17, which is crazy.
17 years old, German player. And in Mexico, a lot of the players are in their 20s, 24, 25. Very young players. We've been checking to see the babies. We'll call them the babies. The ones that have like little baby faces. How much was the average?
3.9 million.
3.9 million per year. I mean, yeah, it's
on the lower end for sports.
It's on the lower end for sports. I think you really have to.
I think it's like lavish without like spending $20 million on Tom Brady's salary. I forget how much he made, but I think it was in the tens of millions, which is absolutely crazy.
Right, for athletes. I mean, 3.9 million. I mean, shoot, we could do a lot with $3.9 million a year, but it's not at the same level as like basketball players or American football players. Still is a lot. And of course, the women get paid a lot less. They have the World Cup coming in 2024, if I recall.
What?
But yeah, I was so excited. But I opened my mouth on it because I've been looking for a soccer buddy because my husband really isn't into sports, and so I forgot my little Mexico flag. My son and I have been watching every single match. Just about, I think we missed like 3 of them, and then we catch him on the replay. But I told my son, who happens to be a Manchester United fan, which I do not understand because he says he hates the British. But he loves the British.
I love the British soccer team.
Okay, explain this to me. How can you hate the English but love Manchester United?
They're cool British people.
They're what?
They're cool British people.
Oh, so Manchester United are cool British people. Okay, all right. But I told him that I was going to take him to England and to the World Cup. So at that point, he'll be a junior in high school, God willing, if we live that long. So we'll be saving our pennies even more than we are now. But I love playing with watching soccer with him, and the rules. Some of the rules change in 2018. I have to look at what the new guidelines are, but it's kind of fascinating. The whole thing has been beautiful.
Yeah, apparently you can't really get much closer to the goal anymore.
Yeah, we were. Okay, real quick, if you can remember, favorite soccer player of all time. You're still learning. Misa, who's your favorite soccer player of all time?
I don't have a favorite soccer player.
A soccer player?
I'm not a soccer fan.
What? Are you a boxing fan? Redeem yourself, Misael.
Oh, I was in sports when I was in my teens and mid 20s, but after a while, I just stopped paying attention to sports because I got into my psychosis, and there was a time I could have.
All right. The voices, perhaps, or so. Come on, answer.
The voices are not into sports.
Oh, pues. They're philosophers and
but
stuff.
I remember when I was young, I watched the World Cup. I think it was 1994 World Cup, and it was Brazil versus Mexico.
Hey, I remember that game. Yeah.
And it was such a great game. I was just so into it. And I remember somebody said it's because my favorite teams always lose too. They go like México juega como nunca y pierde como siempre. That's what they're saying.
Todavía, mira, le entraron tantas buenas jugadas y casi no metieron goles.
And I get so frustrated at Mexico for being such a great players that they always make it up there and it's all hype and just feel like they lost,
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with basketball, same thing with and football, and I'm a Raiders fan. When I recently
California Raiders, of course.
Yeah, but I don't really like watching them because I know they're not gonna play so well. So that I really hope I don't want you to think that I'm like a geek or something that I just focus on writing or anything like that. But
it's okay. Sports, some of us are nerds. Okay.
I feel like sports are very corrupted. I feel like they're very influenced by money. They're influenced by savage calls, referee calls, and I feel like this new microchip in the soccer ball or the football or basketball is going to influence the outcomes of games.
Right.
Because as we know,
you're not going to have the microchip. At the end of the day, you got the camera, you got human eyes. And I'm not saying we shouldn't tech things, but it just, Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it is troubling. That's one of the most troubling things to me. But back to my original question. One of my favorite players of all time is, of course, Pelé from Brazil. And we were watching, my son and I was educating him on the greatest players. And he is, I would say, probably the greatest player of all time. We were watching him score goals. And his footwork was immaculate. And he would often approach the goal by himself and score. I don't think players can do that anymore. There's some rule now where the team has to be, I don't know, I have to look it up. But I was like, what? But I also think that maybe because of the limit, I don't know why. I have to see why the rules change, or if they're fair or not. But Definitely, technology is playing a much larger role. You can tell in the dynamism of the replays too. You got different camera angles. The referee can now review to see how bad the penalty was. Yeah.
They also have like apparently a team on it from what I understand.
Yeah, and they're communicating with each other, which before it was just the one referee making the call, but now there's like a little collective of referees, which I think is interesting. Hey, where are you going, guest?
I saw.
Where are you going?
I need to go pee.
Oh, go pee. Go.
No,
That's okay. Go. You
No,
go take care. You basically need to go. Go. Please go.
I can hold it.
Go right now.
Okay.
I was watching a video, and it was displaying the new the new microchip on the football, and it was saying that it was programmed to be caught by the glove, so you couldn't miss by catching this ball. It went directly to your hand. It was easier to catch. Yeah, it was easier to catch. So they were saying that it would eliminate the fumble, and
No,
I think
that's not cool.
Well, we don't know because technology is now going to influence sports in such a way that
that's the whole point of being the goalie. You catch the ball, and if you fumble, then the other players can kick it in. I mean, that's what happened in the couple of the matches. No, one, the goalie dropped the ball, and guess what? You fucked up. The other team scored it. And so if the ball makes it easier to catch, I don't like that. I think, that technology should be used to enhance the sport, but not influence the outcome like that. What's it going to be next? Fucking cyborgs playing instead of human beings? Nah, man.
Yeah, well, that's there are already movies about that.
No, dude, it's not a human effort.
The sports, but I guess we could see that there is a possibility, knowing the way corruption leads and scams are worked on in these events. So I think that we're not gonna hold the last conversation about this because there's I'm pretty sure in the coming weeks there's gonna be tons of videos about conspiracies about whether the football was influenced by the was the soccer ball influenced by the microchip or things like that. We're gonna see those videos. It's bound to happen because there's a lot of people that are not too happy with their teams, their favorite teams losing.
Well, of course,
we're probably gonna end up having another discussion about this soccer probably in another time because the political impact of soccer is not just influencing the world, but is devastating a lot of economies in other places. Where
he means the use of automation and technology, especially to replace workers. That's for sure.
Yeah, and once the soccer games are over, who's left with the mess? It's not every country's not like Japan that will just clean up the mess, right?
Oh yeah, true.
Their fans, the Japanese soccer fans, were known to clean up the football stadiums, and it was renowned. People were so happy about that, that, and I think some Mexican fans just picked up on it, But I'm not too sure where I'm going with this because I feel like it's a little too early to display my commentary about this stuff. But we should study the political effect. Why is there seven stadiums being built in Qatar? Just for World FIFA. They have the money, right? The U.S., if they were to build 7 stadiums, oh man, there'll be protests and all this.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there have been countries that have protested major sporting events because they don't want that. They don't want the chaos of crime or whatever. I mean, in this case, this is an interesting match because I guess I don't know why they would do this. I think they're going to lose profits, but they've outlawed beer, I think, in all stadiums. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Half of the fun of going to watch a game, especially in a country like Qatar where it's hot, then you have your cold brew. I don't understand that at all. And I'm sure people are sneaking in booze. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not in Qatar, but I'd be carrying my little pachita, But I don't know, man. That's just, I don't know what to think about that. But to your point about how sports are changing, we've noticed, and we were joking, I was joking about this, and I'm like, Korea, stop, recruiting them cute boy band, cuties. A lot of these players, not just in soccer, women's soccer, basketball, baseball, MMA even are very, very attractive. And I don't look at the Mexican selection. And it's not me with rose-colored glasses. I mean, I think we've seen like two players that one was on the Welsh team, the baldy dude, and the guy's not horribly ugly. But a lot of these people could be models. The Japanese team, the Korean team, all these players, and it's just interesting to me that it seems like you don't just have to be a great athlete; you also have to be marketable, right? Your face has to be pretty. I don't think that's right.
You have to be good, like
super
really
good.
good.
Yeah, right.
Like you either have to look attractive or you have to be a generational talent to qualify.
Or both. I mean, a lot of these players, good lord, I think in total maybe I saw a dozen poor passes in all the games that we've been watching. Well, we're watching.
Not to mention the goalies, like absolutely amazing.
All of them. Oof! I'm starting to cough.
Well, what I have to say about that is that it's probably true that they're selecting the alpha, good-looking male or female in these sporting events, but I can't downplay that they have to have talent, just like Antonio said. But I think it's probably for all those ads and commercials purposes. That's the purpose of that, to sell items and things like that. So probably, you're right about that. I never really looked up that, I didn't notice that until now, like, yeah, it's true. They they do look very fashionable, like and their display as such. So
you know what it reminds me of? The fucking Hunger Games. When they take ordinary people from poor countries and then they spruce them up and make them look pretty for their Hunger Games. And there's something to be said about that consumerism. But it's not just sports, it's also the music industry. Other industries where they want somebody beautiful with talent. That's why The Voice is such an interesting show. But I mean, I'm telling you, look at the teams, and you'll notice that they're also quite young too, which is fascinating to me. A lot of them are not quite 17, but in their 20s, very youthful. And so I think they're more attractive a lot of times. But it's kind of an interesting concept, but it's also troublesome because I honestly hadn't seen the World Cup. I don't know, maybe the last few times I saw it was in the early 2000s before I got busy with work and the kids and everything. And it's just it's cool to be able to watch it and stream, but it's also, to me, I was like, why are all the players so damn hot? All of them. And it's just fascinating to me to watch. But anyway, we're still got FIFA fever. I don't know. Who do you think's in it?
Like the entire tournament?
Yeah, the entire tournament. You got a prediction?
Too early to call. I feel like I can say with confidence that some teams will probably make it to the top 16.
France for sure. France won it last time. I think they're going to be strong. England has been showing a very strong showing.
Although they tied they created the sport, and I mean they tied the USA. So
yes, they tied the US, which 0-0, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Oh my gosh! If you watch a show, even if you just do the trial for 7 days, watch the U.S. England match. The United States played its heart out. It was a thing of beauty, So a lot of wonderful things. But I wish that soccer and these international sporting events would be used to create solidarity. And I know one of the things that struck us was when the Iran team first played, they didn't sing the national anthem to support the women in their country. And there was some political controversies, like you couldn't wear the One Love armband.
Yeah, some European teams were planning to wear an LGBTQ plus like a One Love band on their arms, but FIFA was threatening them with like a yellow card to stop.
Yeah, if they wore the armband. So it's bullshit. They also I think they did do the breast cancer awareness, but they could have made a real political statement. What was the other thing you were gonna say?
The country where this World Cup is being held, Qatar, they're less supportive of LGBTQ plus.
Oh yeah, of course.
To religion, so
yeah,
it would be a conflict of interest to allow that. So FIFA made a safe call and decided just to ban them out.
Yeah, I mean it would have caused controversy for sure. Probably I don't know. There was that I thought was interesting, and then there was another. I guess the Soviet Union has been banned from the World Cup because of their involvement in the Ukraine. But
Oh man.
I felt bad for the Russians because it's not their fault they have an idiot president.
Not to mention, they hosted that 2018
They
World Cup.
hosted the 2018 World Cup, and so I think it's unfair. I mean,
Yeah,
think
it's it has to do with the politics of giving them heroic status, but at the same time, there's why are they not siding with Russia? Because I don't side with Russia, but like, why are people not siding with Russia? Because there's probably like a power move among the countries to disempower them as soon as possible, because they pose a threat, because they want to hook up with China and start doing businesses worldwide again. And it's very interesting because Ukraine was the Ukraine team playing.
no,
No,
they didn't qualify. I mean, I can't imagine how they could.
Right.
They're probably fighting right now, along with other people fighting the Soviet Union. You know,
Yeah, man.
no,
I
it's
don't
terrible.
know.
And I
It'll
hope,
be
look, to me, the people of the Soviet Union, the ones that are running away from being forcibly recruited into the military, the working class people of the Soviet Union are not to blame. Blame the fucking ruling class. Ban those motherfuckers from going to the World Cup, not the entire Soviet team. And again, I don't condone what the Soviet Union is doing in Ukraine, not by a long shot, but I also think there's some problems with how the United States has kind of tiptoed around Ukraine. On the one hand, they won't throw in no muscle, but on the other, they're supporting Nazis in fucking Ukraine. This is historical. This is fact, right? And so it's not such a clear cut thing, but I support the people that are the freedom fighters in Ukraine fighting for democracy. But there are problems. And I think the United States is definitely using this to have leverage. And the World Cup, as symbolic as it is, I think it's important to see how these politics are playing out, even in the sports arena. But well, we're going to end on a positive note. We're hoping that your teams win, even if they go against our teams. You see my thank you. May your team goals be abundant. I forgot to say happy late Thanksgiving or Acción de Gracias. And man, we gotta give another shout out to Peacock for doing such a great job of live streaming. I'm sure they're gonna make out like bandits after this. Probably gonna supersede Netflix, but so grateful that they've streamed Telemundo matches so well without a lot of commercials too, which is so annoying. But anyway, hey, Misael, I know you haven't been watching the matches. Maybe we could have a watch party, bro. Since we have a live, we could watch the Mexico match again, so we can cry profusely. Watching the match.
I'm okay with that. They're hearing that they lost was
Hey,
devastating
welcome,
enough.
viewer.
I was
Listen,
saying,
they lost, but they lost like fucking warriors in the battlefield. It was such a thing of beauty. They played as hard as they could have. They just really need to work on aiming. Look, I've been using these sexual metaphors. The goal isn't, and it's not me who's done this. There's other, people who said the goal is in the middle. You aim the ball for the middle, but you got to shoot for it. Go for it. They're not going for it as much as they should. I mean, that's what's so frustrating, right? Well, actually, they did have quite a few kids. This game, they did.
yeah,
They did.
They can't.
They can't find openings to get the damn ball in the hole. That's what the problem.
well, yeah, their defense was too strong. Then that's probably what
Oh
it
my
was.
God, the defense in some of these, even just now watching Spain versus Germany, tremendous. I mean, equally strong defense, offense, just a thing of beauty. I have been so. I'm telling you, man, this has been the best World Cup ever. So we are going to end with. Well, hopefully you like the show. We were going to talk about it again. Hopefully get some commentators. So bad that Ibrahim couldn't come on. He is a poet and super, super into soccer. I think that right now must be his bedtime. But we're sure glad
Right.
that you came on, Misael, and you
Yeah,
brought up interesting
we
facts.
should look up some of the political stuff on the next session, and
I think the microchip was a very good thing and other stuff. Like we did mention, the whole situation with the Soviet Union and Iran, but for sure, because I think you're right. I think this is going to be really controversial, and maybe we could replay some of these controversial calls that I was like, "What in the mother f?"
Also, I feel like the microchip can also detect how close it is into a goal and also how fast it's going. So for replays, it's definitely more interesting. But the fact that it can like call off sides like autonomously is, I think, going to set a weird precedent going forward.
It is, and then, again, to me, the human eye and even the error is what's beautiful about soccer. And arguing bad calls, So I do appreciate the advances in technology and the replays on the camera, because sometimes when we look at things, the soccer players flop, they dramatize to get, penalties. That's what they do. That's what they've done historically, But I think the camera takes away some of that beauty, some of that intensity. But anyway, so maybe next time we'll tune in, we'll talk about more politics in soccer. Aim to have some more aficionados on besides Antonio and myself. New soccer buddy someday. Hopefully, I'll be taking them to the World Cup, him and my family.
Oh,
yeah. And to watch Manchester United play. So we're going to be going to England and doing what the British do, which to me is going to be a pub crawling, eating lots of yummy food. But you're listening to the songs of Liba. Anyway, if you like the show, please like and subscribe, share it out, and if you want to come on the show, post a comment, and I'll be happy to connect with you. My socials are at Dr. Maria J. Estrada on almost all platforms. You want to tell them your socials where they can find you, Misael?
Instagram, Schizoverse.
Schizoverse, sometimes Schizoverse. Hey, Antonio, say goodbye, bro. Now, get over here, say bye, you generation. I don't give a shit. Get over here.
Goodbye.
Thank you for talking to us. And this is my daughter, Simona, who wants to come and jump in. They're going to go play Tetris. Anyway.
Playing on the PlayStation 5 music.
Oh, you're getting an allergic reaction. Go do that. Tell me any medicine now. Go. Ooh, she's getting an allergic reaction. Anyway, that's all we got for you today. And we will see you next time. Thank you for watching Radical Books and Activists. See you next time. Peace out.